The corridor emptied before Maya Chen even rounded the corner. She noticed, because she always noticed. 20 years hunting the worst things the galaxy could produce had taught her to read a room, a station, a planet. Right now, every instinct screamed that something was off about Threshold Station, and the way aliens scattered from her path only confirmed it. A Crovar merchant, all 6 limbs and serrated mandibles, pressed himself against the bulkhead as she passed. His species hunted in packs on their homeworld, apex predators that could shred armored prey in seconds. Yet here he was, practically climbing the wall to avoid her. Maya kept walking, her boots striking the deck plating with measured rhythm. She wore civilian clothes, dark and nondescript, nothing to suggest she was anything other than another human drifter. No uniform, no insignia, no weapons visible on her belt. That was the point. The station hummed around her, a massive spinning wheel of commerce and corruption 3 days from any major transit lane. Threshold Station existed in the gaps, where laws bent and broke, where deals happened in shadows and bodies disappeared without questions. Exactly the kind of place where someone would hide after destroying an entire colony. Her contact had been clear. Vex Tharon was here. The Salithian warlord who had ordered the bombardment of New Edinburgh, who had watched from orbit as 30,000 humans burned, was somewhere on this station. And Maya intended to find him. "Excuse me," the voice came from behind, soft and melodic. Maya turned slowly, hand drifting toward the hidden plasma caster under her jacket. A Quildan stood there, her luminescent feathers rippling with nervous energy. Prey species, herbivores. About as dangerous as a rabbit with bioluminescence. This one clutched a datapad to her chest like a shield. "Yes, you are the human." Not a question. The one they speak of. Maya raised an eyebrow. "They speak of lots of humans." "No." The Quildan's head crest flared, a sign of certainty among her kind. "You are the silent death, the ghost of retribution, the one who ended the Kraviv Syndicate." The titles sounded absurd out loud. The kind of dramatic nonsense criminals invented when they were scared. Maya had heard them before, whispered in a dozen languages across half the explored galaxy. She had never bothered to correct anyone. Fear was a tool, and she wielded it expertly. "If you know who I am," Maya said quietly, "then you know I am not here for you. Walk away." The Quildan did not move. Her feathers shifted from blue to deep purple, determination overriding terror. "I know why you are here. I know you seek Vex Tharon." Now she had Maya's full attention. "And you know where he is because I helped him hide." The words tumbled out quickly, desperate. "I did not know what he had done. I thought he was just another warlord, another criminal needing sanctuary. When I learned about New Edinburgh, about the children." She made a sound like breaking glass. "I have a daughter. She is 7 cycles old. I cannot. I will not." Maya studied her for a long moment. Reading lies was second nature after 2 decades. This Quildan was terrified. Yes, but of her own guilt more than anything else. "Where?" "Sublevel 9, Sector 12. But you cannot reach him. He has 30 Salithian warriors, elite soldiers. They scan every approach. They kill anyone suspicious." "I am not anyone. You are one human. He has an army." Maya smiled, and the Quildan took an involuntary step backward. "I have been one human against worse odds. Tell me about the sublevel layout, security, escape routes." The information came quickly. The Quildan had worked in station operations before fear and conscience caught up with her. She knew every duct, every maintenance tunnel, every place where sensors failed because budget cuts mattered more than safety. When she finished, Maya pulled a credit chip from her pocket and pressed it into the alien's trembling hand. "Get your daughter, leave this station, never come back." "Why are you helping me?" "Because you did the right thing when it mattered." Maya turned to leave, then paused. "And because I understand what it means to fail the people you love." She walked away before the Quildan could respond, already planning her approach. Sublevel 9 was deep in the station's industrial sector where life support was minimal and oversight was non-existent. Perfect place to hide an army. Perfect place for a massacre. The lift descended in silence, carrying her past the commercial levels, past residential, past everything civilized about Threshold Station. When the doors opened on Sublevel 9, the temperature had dropped 15 degrees, and the air smelled of rust and ozone. Maya moved through the shadows like smoke, her augmented muscles carrying her weight without sound. She had spent a fortune on the enhancements after New Edinburgh, selling everything she owned to become something more than human. Faster reflexes, denser bone, cardiovascular system that could sustain combat for hours without fatigue. The aliens called it cheating. She called it evolution. Sector 12 appeared abandoned, but thermal imaging showed 32 signatures clustered in what looked like a converted cargo bay. She identified guard posts, patrol patterns, choke points. The Salithians were professional. She would give them that. Not professional enough. Maya triggered the plasma caster, feeling it warm against her palm as it emerged from its concealed housing. Military grade, Terran design, illegal in 17 systems. She had 5 more weapons hidden on her body, each one perfectly suited for specific scenarios. The first guard died without knowing she existed. One moment, he was scanning the corridor. The next, a plasma bolt erased everything above his torso. The shot was silent. The result was not. Alarms shrieked through the sublevel. Maya ran forward as chaos erupted, her enhanced physiology eating up the distance. She vaulted over a crate, fired twice midair, and 2 more Salithians crumpled before they could raise weapons. Landing in a roll, she came up firing, each shot placed with surgical precision. Headshots, heart shots, targeting the gaps in armor where biology made them vulnerable. The Salithians were trained warriors from a species evolved for conquest. They were bigger than humans, stronger, covered in natural armor plating. Their homeworld had produced some of the galaxy's most feared soldiers. Against Maya Chen, they might as well have been children. She moved through them like wind through grass, never staying in one place long enough for return fire to find her. The blade appeared in her offhand, monomolecular edge cutting through armor like paper. She ducked under a plasma bolt, drove the knife up through a warrior's jaw into his brain, then used the falling body as a shield. Thunder filled the cargo bay. Weapons fire. Screaming. The wet sounds of bodies hitting deck plating. Maya counted them as they fell. 8, 12, 16. Her tactical display tracked the remaining signatures, predicting movement patterns, identifying threats. 21 down when she saw him. Vex Tharon stood at the far end of the bay, his purple carapace gleaming under emergency lighting. He was massive even for a Salithian, a wall of muscle and armor and barely contained violence. His primary arms held a pulse cannon designed to destroy vehicles. "You," he rumbled in broken standard, "you are the ghost. And you are the coward who burns civilians." Maya approached slowly, her weapons steady. New Edinburgh. 30,000 dead. 12,000 were children. "War," he snarled. "Necessary sacrifice." "There was no war. You wanted the mining rights. They said no, so you killed everyone." Around them, the surviving Salithians formed a half-circle, weapons trained on Maya but awaiting their commander's order. She counted 9 remaining. Good odd. Tharon's mandibles clicked, his species equivalent of a laugh. "What will you do, little human? Kill me? Take revenge? It will not bring them back." "No," Maya agreed, "but it will stop you from doing it again." Bold words for prey. He raised the pulse cannon. "You think you are Predator? You think because you killed my soldiers you are dangerous? I have fought wars across 100 worlds. I have led armies. I have broken species." Maya tilted her head slightly, and something in her expression made the nearest Salithian warrior take an involuntary step backward. "You talk too much." What happened next took 3 seconds. Maya's plasma caster fired 3 times in rapid succession, each bolt targeting structural supports above Tharon's position. The ceiling collapsed in a cascade of metal and debris. Simultaneously, she triggered an electromagnetic pulse grenade, frying every weapon system within 50 meters, including her own. She dropped the now useless caster and drew a knife in each hand as she charged into the dust cloud. The Salithians converged, suddenly fighting in close quarters where their size was a disadvantage. Maya's blades found throats, eyes, the soft spots between armor plates. She fought with cold precision, no wasted movement, no emotion on her face. Each kill was calculated. Each death was necessary. 2 warriors remained when she heard Tharon roar from beneath the rubble. The Warlord burst upward, bleeding but alive, and backhanded her across the bay with one of his massive arms. Maya hit the wall hard enough to crack ribs. Her enhanced healing kicked in immediately, flooding her system with combat stimulants, but the impact had still rattled her. She tasted blood. Tharon advanced, pulse cannon lost, but fists like sledgehammers raised. You are good human. Better than I expected, but you are still just meat. Maya stood slowly, wiping blood from her mouth. Let me tell you something about meat, Tharon, something you clearly never learned. She smiled, cold and empty. The most dangerous predator on Earth was not the biggest or the strongest. It was the one that refused to stop hunting. She moved. What followed was not a fight. It was an execution. Maya had studied Salithian physiology for 6 months before coming here, learned every weak point, every vulnerable spot in their seemingly impenetrable armor. She knew where to cut to sever major arteries. She knew where to strike to collapse respiratory systems. Tharon fought with the fury of a cornered beast. His blows could shatter bone, his armor turned aside most attacks, but Maya was faster, smarter, and most importantly, she had already accepted that she might die here. That made her infinitely more dangerous. The final blow came when Tharon overextended. Trying to crush her skull, Maya rolled inside his guard, drove both knives up through the soft tissue under his jaw, and then twisted. The Warlord gurgled, eyes wide with shock and fury, and then collapsed. Maya stood over the body, breathing hard, counting her own wounds. Cracked ribs, fractured left arm, possible internal bleeding. The combat stimulants were already fading, leaving pain in their wake. She turned to leave and froze. A figure stood in the doorway. Human. Female. Wearing a uniform Maya recognized from intelligence briefings. Commander Sarah Okonkwo, Galactic Security Council. One of the most powerful law enforcement officers in known space, Maya Chen. Okonkwo said softly, "You are under arrest for 32 counts of murder." They were not murder. The law does not care what you call them. Okonkwo drew her sidearm with slow deliberation. I know what he did. I know about New Edinburgh, but this is not justice. This is revenge. Sometimes they are the same thing. No, the commander shook her head. They never are. Now stand down before I add resisting arrest to the charges. Maya looked at the weapon, looked at the bodies around her, looked at Vex Tharon's corpse, the warlord who had murdered her daughter. Because she had not told anyone that part, or not mentioned that among the 30,000 dead on New Edinburgh had been little Emma Chen, age 7, who loved dinosaurs and wanted to be a xenobiologist. Had not explained that she had spent the last 3 years becoming something inhuman so she could kill the thing that had taken her child. And now, standing in a pool of blood with broken ribs and vengeance complete, Maya Chen realized she had nothing left. You know the funny thing about being the apex predator? Maya said quietly. Eventually you run out of prey. She raised her hands in surrender. Okonkwo moved forward with restraints, and that was when the deck plating exploded beneath them both. Maya woke to darkness and the smell of burning metal. Her tactical display was offline, her augmented systems running on emergency power. She tried to move and gasped as pain lanced through her chest. The cracked ribs had become broken ribs, possibly puncturing a lung. Emergency lighting flickered on, revealing a nightmare. The cargo bay had been torn open. Exposed conduits sparked and spat, filling the air with acrid smoke. Bodies lay scattered across twisted metal. Maya counted 6 Salithians who had somehow survived her initial assault, now very dead from whatever had exploded through the floor. Commander Okonkwo groaned nearby, pinned beneath a fallen support beam. And standing in the center of the destruction was something that should not exist. The creature stood 9 feet tall on reverse-jointed legs, covered in chitinous armor that seemed to absorb light. 4 arms ended in claws designed for rending flesh. Its head was elongated, eyeless, with a mouth that split vertically to reveal rows of crystalline teeth. A Xel'tar. A species that had been extinct for 3,000 years. Impossible. Okonkwo whispered. The Xel'tar turned its head toward the sound, and Maya finally understood why every predator on the station had been avoiding her. They had not been afraid of her. They had been fleeing from this. The creature moved with liquid grace, stalking toward Okonkwo with clear intent. The commander tried to reach her weapon, but her arm was trapped. She was helpless. Maya forced herself upright. Every movement, agony. Her weapons were scattered, out of reach. Her augmented body was barely functional. By any logical assessment, she should stay down. Let the creature kill Okonkwo, then pray it left her alone. Instead, she picked up a piece of jagged metal and charged. The Xel'tar spun impossibly fast, one claw catching Maya across the torso and sending her flying. She hit the wall, felt something inside her tear, tasted blood. Her vision swam. The creature made a sound like grinding glass and advanced on her instead, recognizing the greater threat. Good. That gave Okonkwo time to escape. Chen, don't, the commander shouted. You cannot fight that thing. Watch me. Maya spat blood and stood again, weaving slightly. I have unfinished business. The Xel'tar attacked, and Maya discovered that 3 years of enhancements and training meant nothing against a species that had conquered 40 star systems before humanity even discovered fire. She dodged the first strike through pure instinct, rolled under the second, but the third caught her across the back and slammed her face first into the deck. Blood pooled beneath her. The combat stimulants were gone. Her enhanced healing was overwhelmed. She was dying, and still she stood. Why? Okonkwo had finally freed herself, was pulling Maya backward. Why are you doing this? Because, Maya gasped, every word costing her. If I die here, then my daughter died for nothing. If I die here, then everything I became was pointless. If I die here, monsters like this win. She pulled herself free from Okonkwo's grip, faced the Xel'tar with blood streaming down her face. And I refuse to let monsters win ever again. The creature paused, head tilting as if studying her. Then it did something Maya did not expect. It spoke. The voice was wrong. Layered harmonics that hurt to hear, but the words were standard. You are broken, human. You should be dead. Why do you rise? Because lying down is not in my nature. You understand you cannot defeat me. Probably not. Does not mean I will stop trying. The Xel'tar made that grinding glass sound again, and Maya realized it was laughing. Your species is fascinating. No natural weapons. No armor. Physically inferior to most spacefaring races. Yet you conquered your own world, reached the stars, and now you stand before a predator from the old wars with nothing but defiance. Is there supposed to be a point to this conversation? Maya swayed, barely staying upright. Because I am bleeding out and would like to skip to the part where we fight. There will be no fight. The creature's claws retracted. They have been hunting Vex Tharon for 6 standard months. He destroyed my nest, killed my young. I came to this station to end him. But I see you have done my work for me. Maya blinked, trying to process this through the pain and blood loss. You are not here to kill us. I am here for revenge, same as you. The Salithians told stories of your approach, of a human who moved through the station like death incarnate. Every predator species recognized what you were. Every prey species understood instinctively. The Xel'tar moved closer, lowering its massive head. You are apex of apex, human. Not because you are strongest, but because you refuse to be anything else. That is insane, Okonkwo said. She is a vigilante, a murderer. She is what this galaxy needs, the Xel'tar countered. You civilized species with your laws and councils and endless debate. Meanwhile, warlords burn colonies. Pirates raid helpless worlds. Slavers steal children. Your justice moves slowly, while innocents die. So what, we just let people like Chen tear through the galaxy killing whoever they want? No, the creature turned its eyeless gaze to Maya. We let people like Chen do what must be done, and we stay out of her way. Maya laughed, which hurt worse than anything else so far. That is definitely not how law and civilization work. Perhaps, the Xel'tar began moving toward a hole in the wall, clearly an exit. But I suspect you will have many opportunities to refine the philosophy. This station has been a haven for criminals for too long. Your presence here has already changed things. Those who profit from suffering are fleeing. Those who prey on the weak are leaving. Wait, Maya called after it. What are you? My name is Keeper Vex. I was the last of my kind until 6 months ago when I discovered eggs hidden in stasis. Now I am simply a father trying to protect his children. The creature paused at the threshold. Same as you were. Same as you will always be, in your way. Then it was gone, disappearing into the station's depths. Maya collapsed, her strength finally exhausted. Okonkwo caught her, easing her down with surprising gentleness. You should have let me arrest you, the commander said quietly. Would have been simpler. Nothing about me is simple anymore. No kidding. Okonkwo pulled out a medical kit, started working on Maya's wounds. You know I still have to report this. All of it. The council will want answers. Let them want. Maya closed her eyes, suddenly exhausted beyond measure. I did what I came here to do. Tharon is dead. That is all that matters. Is it? Okonkwo's hands paused. What about after? What happens when the revenge is done and you are still alive? The question hung in the air like smoke. Maya had spent 3 years focused on a single goal. Hunt Vex Tharon. Kill Vex Tharon. Make him pay for what he did to Emma, to New Edinburgh, to thousands of innocent lives. She had rebuilt herself into a weapon, sacrificed everything human about her existence for this one purpose, and now it was over. I do not know. She admitted, I never thought past today. Then maybe it is time to start thinking. Okonkwo finished the bandaging, sat back on her heels. The galaxy needs people like you, Chen, not vigilantes, not revenge-driven killers, but people who understand that sometimes the monsters need to be put down before the law catches up. You are suggesting I work for the Council. I am suggesting you work with us. Not as an agent, not with oversight or restrictions, but as someone we can call when the situation requires your specific skill set. Okonkwo met her eyes. Off the books. Deniable. Hunting the things that slip through the cracks. That is illegal. So is killing 32 people on a civilian station. Maya actually smiled at that. Fair point. They sat in silence for a moment, surrounded by bodies and wreckage. Then Maya's communicator chirped. She checked it with her working hand, frowned at the message. What? The Quildan? The one who told me where Tharon was hiding. Maya showed Okonkwo the screen. She sent this 10 minutes ago. Says she is leaving the station like I told her, but wanted to thank me. Says her daughter wants to be just like me when she grows up. Okonkwo raised an eyebrow. A 7-year-old alien wants to be a revenge-driven killer when she grows up. That is concerning. She wants to be someone who protects people, who stands up to monsters. Maya looked at the message again, something twisting in her chest. That is not the same thing, isn't it? You protected New Edinburgh by hunting Tharon. You protected that Quildan and her daughter by giving them a chance to escape. Hell, you just protected me from a supposedly extinct alien death machine. The commander stood, offered Maya a hand up. Maybe that is what you are supposed to be. Not a killer, a protector. Maya let herself be pulled upright, leaning heavily on Okonkwo for support. Every step toward the exit was agony, but she kept moving. Behind them, Vex Tharon's body lay cold and still. The Warlord's reign of terror permanently ended. Ahead, the station was chaos. Alarms blared. Security forces rushed through corridors. Civilians fled toward docking bays, desperate to escape whatever nightmare had invaded their criminal sanctuary. They did not know the nightmare was leaving. As Maya and Okonkwo reached the lift, a crowbar merchant stumbled past them, all 6 limbs scrambling for purchase. He glanced at Maya, his compound eyes widening in recognition and terror, and threw himself against the far wall. You know, Okonkwo said, conversationally, that reaction is going to get old fast. Probably. Maya watched the merchant flee. But it has certain advantages. They rode the lift in silence until they reached the commercial levels. Here the panic was less intense, but the atmosphere had definitely shifted. Predator species moved with caution. Prey species watched the shadows with newfound vigilance. The entire ecosystem of Threshold Station had been disrupted, all because one human refused to stop hunting. As they walked through the promenade, Maya noticed something. A group of humans, maybe 20 or 30, had gathered near one of the viewing ports. They were talking in low voices, showing each other something on their datapads. One of them looked up as Maya passed, made eye contact, then slowly, deliberately, nodded. Others followed suit, a gesture of respect, of understanding, of solidarity. They know who you are, Okonkwo said quietly. Word travels fast on a station like this. By tomorrow, every human in the sector will have heard the story. The woman who walked into a Salithian stronghold alone and walked out again. Great, just what I need. Fame, not fame. Hope. The commander guided them toward the docking ring. You showed them that humans do not have to be victims, that we can stand toe-to-toe with species that outweigh us, outgun us, out-armor us, and still come out on top. That is powerful. Maya thought about Emma, about the last time she had held her daughter before the deployment that took her to the far side of the sector, about the message she had received 3 days later, the official notification that New Edinburgh had been destroyed, that there were no survivors. About the moment she decided to stop being human and become something else. I just wanted him dead, she said quietly. I did not want to inspire anyone. Life rarely cares what we want. Okonkwo stopped at a docking port, keyed in a security code. My ship is here. Medical bay is fully stocked. Let me get you patched up properly. Then we can talk about the future. What if I do not want to talk about the future? Then you can sit in silence while I do all the talking. I am very good at that. The door opened, revealing a sleek courier vessel. Come on, Chen. Time to stop being a ghost and start being a person again. Maya hesitated at the threshold. Beyond this point, her old life was truly over. No more hunting alone. No more single-minded revenge. No more pretending she was just a weapon. But maybe that was okay. Maybe it was time to become something more than the sum of her pain. She stepped through the door. 3 hours later, medical treatment complete and painkillers making everything hazy. Maya stood in the observation deck watching Threshold Station shrink in the viewport. Okonkwo had filed her report, carefully omitting certain details. The official story was that Vex Tharon had died in an internal power struggle, killed by his own soldiers. Maya Chen was never there. So, Okonkwo said, joining her at the viewport, have you thought about my offer? To be your off-the-books killer, to be someone who helps when the law is too slow. Big difference. The commander handed her a datapad. These are cases from the last 6 months, warlords, slavers, pirates, all of them technically outside our jurisdiction or protected by legal technicalities, all of them hurting people. Maya scrolled through the files, saw names, faces, locations, saw the body counts, the destroyed lives, the suffering, saw Emma's face in every victim. This would never end, she said. There are thousands of monsters out there, tens of thousands, probably, but every one you stop is hundreds of lives saved. Thousands of children who get to grow up. Okonkwo leaned against the viewport. Your daughter wanted to be a xenobiologist. She wanted to study life, understand it, protect it. Maybe this is how you honor that, by making sure other children get the chance to follow their dreams. Maya closed her eyes, felt tears threatening for the first time in 3 years. She had spent so long being hard, being cold, being the weapon, that she had forgotten how to be the mother. But Emma would not want her to stop living, would not want her to waste the second chance at life that revenge had somehow given her. Her daughter would want her to protect people, to stand between the monsters and the innocent, to be the thing that predators feared and prey animals understood instinctively, to be apex of apex, not through violence alone but through purpose. Okay, Maya said quietly, I will do it, on one condition. Name it. No unnecessary killing. I only go after people who absolutely cannot be stopped any other way, and I try the other ways first. She opened her eyes, met Okonkwo's gaze. I will not become the thing I hunt. My daughter deserves better than that. Okonkwo smiled, genuine warmth in the expression. Deal. Welcome to the team, Chen. Or should I say, welcome to the shadows. Just Maya is fine. All right then. Just Maya. The commander held out her hand. Let us go save some lives. Maya took the offered hand, shook it firmly, and felt something settle in her chest. Purpose. Direction. A reason to keep being human instead of just a weapon. Behind them, Threshold Station disappeared into the void, its criminal empire already crumbling without the fear that had held it together. Across the station, predators were rethinking their life choices. Prey animals were standing a little taller, and somewhere in the depths, a supposedly extinct Xel'tar was rebuilding his nest, protecting his children, teaching them that some humans were worthy of respect. The galaxy had changed, just slightly, because one woman refused to stop hunting, and Maya Chen, formerly the Silent Death, formerly the Ghost of Retribution, formerly so many dramatic titles she had lost count, decided that maybe being apex of apex was not about how many you killed. Maybe it was about how many you saved. She turned away from the viewport, toward the future, and allowed herself the smallest of smiles. Emma would have been proud.